But the big story around the U.S. for the last couple weeks, at least, has been the case of Folarin Balogun, young player who's come up in the Arsenal Academy system, played for England at the youth national team level, U.S. as well, and can also, of course, represent Nigeria. Here's the latest from Gareth Southgate, England manager. Quote, "I haven't spoken to Balogun yet because to this point, he has been with the under-21s and very happy. Clearly, other nations have been quite aggressive in their recruitment and what they are offering. That, in my experience of history, has sometimes been really successful for the players and sometimes hasn't worked out. I've seen countries cap players at 16 or 17 and they've disappeared. In the end, as a player, I think you back yourself, but you have to go ultimately make the decision. We would like him to give it some time. And if he is progressing the way he is and continues that progression, there will be opportunities for him. But I cannot offer him that this week. I think if we did, I don't think that would be fair on Ivan Toney, who has scored the goals he has in the Premier League. Flo, we like. He's obviously not had an opportunity in the Premier League yet, so we have to weigh up those goals to Ivan, for example, or Ollie Watkins, or Eddie Nketiah, who's done really well with the opportunity he has had at Arsenal. A lot to unpack there from Gareth Southgate. Shots fired at Balogun, League on, maybe the USA for their aggressive recruiting. Herc, is any of it warranted from the England manager?
Sure. It's also short-sighted of him. It's also a very arrogant take. The Premier League is the only league in the world. It is the best league in the world for my money. But to assume it's the only league in the world, to assume that a player that is battling for the Golden Boot with the likes of Kylian Mbappe, with the likes of Neymar, Messi who play there, Lacazette, it is very short-sighted. A player who your U21s value very much, they seem very upset that this is happening, who could potentially do something in the future for you. It's short-sighted to say, hey, not right now, maybe go play in the Premier League someday and we'll check you out. But all the players that Southgate mentioned are not even 30 yet. And he has a player in 29 years of age, Harry Kane, who's the all-time leading goal scorer for the English national team. He can say this because England has the luxury of maybe turning away players. And he also has the luxury of not setting precedent, because if you do this for one dual national, you may have to do it for all the dual nationals. And he's right. If you think about the U.S. men's national team, let's say this was a player of dual citizenship for Mexico or Honduras. You wouldn't say just cap time to cap time, would you? That's actually something that on this show we've been very much against, and it's not about being predatory with your cap ties, but it is about, in Flo's case, going where you feel valued, going where you feel there's a future. And ultimately, if that's not England, if this is the ultimate say that gets you to believe, like, hey, my time's not there, that's what it is. But there are shots fired in multiple places, but there's also a sense of truth here.
Yeah, there's a line for me between like what they're calling a predatory call-up, when you're capping a kid at a very young age without a real plan for him.
Right.
And maybe this situation specifically with Balogun. And I think Southgate is kind of putting those two into the same conversation when they're really different. I don't know about you. You seem like a pretty cool cat. I'm sure when you were younger, you didn't get dumped a lot. I may have been dumped a few times. This sounds like pre-breakup talk, right? This sounds like, okay, I know the other person, their interest is fading in me. I'm not that interested. I can't really do anything. I think this is Gareth Southgate basically saying...
Were they ever courting? Were they ever dating?
I think this is Gareth Southgate saying, hey, sorry, like, I can't bring this kid in right now. Stop asking me about it. It's not going to work, and we're going to be okay when he goes to the U.S. You can make the case it's a little bit naive. It's England maybe not adjusting to the new realities of world football, but maybe they're just that deep. Maybe that's how Southgate sees the program. But for me, Herc, when you add it on to all the other stuff, and we love to check out Balogun's social media, you saw the post today where he puts the American flag up, recapping all his journeys in the United States. And I think many people have pointed out there's not as much English national team gear on his Instagram feed as before. So it really feels like, and I know each of the last few shows we've said this, all of the momentum now is Balogun to the U.S.
It does. And you also have to realize what it means for maybe the U.S. men's national team compared to England. England may just lose a player, but if the U.S. men's national team lose this player, a lot of people may feel they lost a generational talent. In a pool like the U.S. men's national team pool, you can't just go around turning away certain players. You need to unearth a lot of different stones and see what you have.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.